Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So if you're a Jersey Central Power and Light customer, you've probably noticed a few, changes to how you handle your monthly statements lately. Today, we're going to totally demystify JCP&L's new ACI SpeedPay online billing system.
Let's be real for a second. Do you want to pay your JCP&L bill quickly, securely, and maybe even keep some of that hard-earned cash by dodging those annoying third-party fees? Of course you do. Whether you're setting up your electricity for the very first time or you're a seasoned homeowner who just needs a quick refresher on the digital setup, this explainer is loaded with everything you need to know to make paying your bill totally effortless.
Okay, let's just dive right into it. Here's our agenda for today. Getting started with JCP&L, exploring your payment options, making your online payment, auto pay and account management, troubleshooting and disconnections, and finally, final tips and disclaimers. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Getting started with JCP&L. When you first land on the JCP&L website, you're basically looking at two main front doors to get into the payment portal. Knowing which one to walk through is your very first step. So, on one side, we have Guest Pay. This is amazing if you're just in a huge rush and need to knock out a one-time payment without logging in. To use it, you just need your utility account number and the service address zip code. Easy, right? But if you really want long-term control over your billing, you're going to want the second option, which is My Account. Registering for this unlocks the whole shebang, your full account management dashboard. But pay close attention to this part. To actually set this up, you absolutely need your physical billing statement handy. You have to find a specific online registration code right on the paper, which basically acts as your security token.
All right, Section 2. Exploring your payment options. Once you actually get through those digital front doors, you're going to notice a ton of new choices. By upgrading to their new ACI SpeedPay processor, JCP&L has really modernized how you can pay. It's incredibly flexible now. You've got your traditional standbys, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, and Diners Club. You've also got pinless debit options. But honestly, the real game changer here is the digital wallets. You can now literally pay your electric bill using Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. And, of course, if you want to keep it old school, the standard electronic check or ACH transfer is still right there for your checking or savings account.
Section 3. Making your online payment. So now that we know how you can pay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of making a one-time payment. Specifically, we really need to talk about the costs, because those convenience fees, they can add up fast. Let's break down the fee structure. For residential customers using a credit or debit card, the fee has actually dropped a bit to $2.75 per transaction. Not too bad, but if you're a commercial customer, it's a percentage, specifically 2.75% of your total transaction. On the flip side, an electronic check or ACH payment is just a flat 50 cents across the board, whether you're residential or commercial. So definitely keep that 50-cent option in mind.
Okay, here is a super important number you need to remember: $1,500. JCP&L has a strict $1,500 limit per transaction for credit cards. Literally, if your bill is even a penny over this amount, the card payment just won't process, and you'll have to figure out an alternative way to pay. So keep a close eye on that total.
You've also got to watch the clock so you don't accidentally miss a due date. Here's how it works. If you make a card or digital wallet payment on a weekday before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you're golden. It processes that exact same day. But watch out for the weekend trap. If you submit a payment on a Friday after 8 p.m. Eastern, it's just going to sit there and won't actually process until the following Monday. And for this 50-cent electronic checks we talked about, you have to factor in 1 to 3 business days for those funds to actually clear your bank account.
Section 4. Autopay and account management. Look, keeping track of those processing times and transaction fees every single month can be a total headache. So let's talk about the absolute best hack for managing your account. If you take away just one thing from this explainer, make it this: AutoPay completely eliminates those one-time third-party service fees. Yes, you heard that right. By setting up either the AutoPay bank account or the AutoPay credit card option, you entirely bypass those ACI SpeedPay fees. It is for sure the easiest way to keep more money in your pocket and guarantee your bill is paid perfectly on time. Getting it set up is super simple. You just securely enter your banking or credit card details into the system. But, and this is a big but, if you go with the AutoPay credit card route, you are strictly required to enroll in JCP&L's paperless e-bill system. It is completely mandatory. Once you do that, just give the system up to 2 business days to process your enrollment, and you're good to go for the next billing cycle. And hey, since you're already logged into the My Account portal to do this, you get to play around with some really great features.
You can dive into detailed reports to track your energy usage over time, you can set up handy text and email alerts for due dates, and if you happen to manage multiple properties, you can handle all of them from one simple drop-down menu. No more logging in and out a dozen times.
Moving on to Section 5, Troubleshooting and Disconnections.
So even with the best intentions, life happens. And knowing how to handle a really stressful situation, like a missed payment or a power shutoff, is absolutely crucial. We need to tackle a serious question. What exactly do you do if your JCP&L service is already disconnected? When the lights go out, it's easy to panic, but there are very strict rules in the online system you have to follow to get back on the grid.
Here is the reality check. Simply making an online payment does not automatically turn your power back on. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. First, yes, you do have to go online and pay the full past due amount. But the absolute most important step is what comes next. The second you get that digital confirmation number, you must immediately pick up the phone and call the customer care center at 1-800-662-3115. You literally have to read that confirmation number to a live agent so they can manually send out the order to restore your power.
Also, there's a strict administrative rule to keep in your back pocket. If your account happens to be more than 30 days past due, or if you've had checks bounce in the past, JCP&L will completely block you from using one-time ACH payments. Basically, your account gets locked into a cash-only or card-only status until that debt is cleared up. So definitely keep that in mind if you're ever in a pinch.
Finally, Section 6, Final Tips and Disclaimers. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's just wrap things up with a quick best practice to keep your finances totally stress-free. Remember earlier how we said ACH transfers take 1 to 3 business days to clear? Well, because of that lag time, it is 100% on you to make sure you have enough funds sitting in your checking account until that payment officially posts. If the transfer bounces, JCP&L is not going to cover any bank overdraft fees you get hit with.
And just to keep everything by the book, I do need to read our official disclaimer. The information in this explainer is accurate as of its creation and subject to change. Verify details directly with JCP&L. You know how it goes, policies and digital interfaces can always shift, so double-checking the actual website is always the smartest move for the most current information.
So after all that, I'm super curious to hear from you. What's your game plan for your next JCP&L bill? Are you jumping on the Apple Pay train? Or are you taking our advice and locking in those zero-fee auto-pay savings? Let us know. Drop your thoughts, questions, or any cool tips you have down in the comments to help out the rest of the community. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on The Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.